All right, today we're going to dive into a really foundational AI design pattern. It's one that will fundamentally change how you build more complex AI workflows. It's called prompt chaining, and it is all about bringing structure and, more importantly, reliability to your applications.
So let's be honest, we've all been there, right? You craft this incredibly detailed, multi-step prompt, asking an LLM to do everything at once. You want it to summarize and extract and analyze and then draft an email. And what do you get back? Usually a garbled mess or a response that just completely ignores half of your instructions.
There's a really good reason why this happens. A single massive prompt, what we call a monolithic prompt, it just overloads the model's cognitive load. Think about it like giving a person a dozen really complex instructions all at the same time, and just expecting them to remember and execute every single one perfectly. The more you ask for in one go, the higher the chance of errors, hallucinations, and just plain unreliable outputs.
So, the solution is this really elegant and powerful design pattern, prompt chaining. The idea is simple. Instead of trying to make one giant leap, we take a series of smaller, much more deliberate steps. This is how we start to turn that complexity into predictable, high-quality results.
So what is it exactly? Well, prompt chaining is a design pattern where we break down a complex task into a sequence of simple, focused prompts. But here's the magic, the key part. The output from one prompt becomes the direct input for the very next one. This creates a seamless, logical flow of information. And the difference between these two approaches is it's night and day. A monolithic prompt is a total black box. When it fails, you're kind of left guessing why. But with a chained prompt, each step is this transparent, testable little unit. This is huge. It not only boosts your accuracy by reducing the cognitive load at each stage, but it makes debugging incredibly simple. You can pinpoint the exact link in the chain that's giving you trouble. To really get a handle on how this works, let's try to visualize it. I think the best analogy comes from traditional software engineering. It's like a computational pipeline. Just like how data flows and gets transformed from one function to the next, in prompt chaining, the output of one LLM call flows directly into the next one. So let's walk through a classic example. Imagine you have a really dense quarterly report. Okay, step one, your first LLM call is just to generate a concise summary of that report. Simple enough. Step two, we feed that summary into a second LLM call, which has only one job, to extract the key business trends. And finally, step three, those trends are then passed to a final LLM call to draft a clear, professional email for all the stakeholders. See? Each step is specialized and builds perfectly on the last one. So that's the high-level flow. It makes sense, right? Now let's get a little closer and look at this simple but really powerful logic that actually connects these steps together in the code. Now, in this pseudocode here, you can see the logic in action. It's really straightforward. The first LLM call runs, generates that summary, and we store its result in a variable. Then, in the second LLM call, that exact variable is passed in as the context. It's really that simple. We are programmatically linking the output of the first call directly to the input of the second. This is the heart of the pattern. Now, this brings us to a really critical best practice. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link, right? So if the data that you're passing between your prompts is inconsistent or it's poorly formatted, your entire workflow can just fall apart. Data integrity here is everything.
So here's the pro tip, the really crucial point. For any kind of production-grade system, you need to instruct the model to format its output as structured data. JSON is absolutely perfect for this. When you do this, you're essentially creating a reliable, machine-readable contract between the steps. The next prompt in the chain isn't just hoping for the right info. It's designed to parse a predictable JSON structure, which ensures it gets exactly the data it needs to do its job. This is what makes your chain truly robust.
Okay, let's make this even more concrete. We'll use a tangible, real-world use case that you can probably apply almost immediately, building an automated content generation workflow. We're going to take what is a pretty complex creative task, writing a blog post from scratch, and we're going to decompose it into a simple, reliable chain of prompts. So our workflow will have three very distinct phases. First, we'll generate a structured outline. Second, we'll use that outline to draft the content, but section by section. And third, we'll take that full draft and have the model review and edit it for quality. This maps perfectly to a prompt chain. Here it is, the first link in our chain. It's a simple, very focused request. We give the model a topic, and we ask it to generate a detailed 5-point outline. The output of this step is going to be the blueprint for the entire rest of our process.
Now, for step 2, notice we don't ask it to write the whole post. No way. We just take the first point from the outline that was generated in the previous step, and we use that as the input right here. We ask the model to write a draft for only that specific section. We would then, of course, repeat this for each point in the outline, building our blog post piece by piece.
So once all those sections are drafted and we've put them together, we move to the final link in our chain. We pass the entire draft text into a new prompt that's focused purely on quality assurance, refining it for coherence, improving the flow, and catching any grammatical errors. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. By decomposing your complex tasks into a chain of simple, reliable steps, you are going to achieve far superior results. This isn't just about writing better prompts. This is about architecting intelligent, predictable systems. And that brings us to a final thought for you to take back to your own projects. Think about the most complex, multi-step tasks that you're currently trying to automate. What's the first workflow that you're going to break down in chain?